everyone, and welcome to Bath Garden Center. Terrariums are a super fun way to create a small landscape of plants, and we have a ton of them here at Bath Garden Center. So let's go over a few fun tips about terrariums and how to care for them. So fun fact about terrariums is they used to be called Wardian cases, and you might find some original Wardian cases still. They kind of look like small little greenhouses, and they open at the top. But now these terrariums are often seen in more modernized glasses like we have here. There are a few different ways that you can create terrariums. A lot of them you might find as open containers, or you can find closed containers with the lids. And today we're going to talk about how to care for open container terrariums. So as you can tell with open containers, they are usually open on the top, or they can kind of be open on the side as well. And these are called arid climate containers. They allow your plants to get a little more airflow into them. And so definitely with these guys, the desert scape is super popular. And as you can see, terrariums, open terrariums are not just for desert scapes. You can definitely do a tropical landscape in your terrariums as well. And as long as you are filling it about a third of the way up of the container, that'll keep in the moisture for your tropical plants a little bit better. A huge helpful tip with your terrariums is knowing your plants and the containers that you're going to be putting them in. With certain plants, they're going to require different substrates and soils. So like the desert containers that we are creating here, we like to use a mixture of pumice and sand. And again, you like to fill them about a third of the way up. And for our tropical containers, we'll like to use a mixture of pumice again at the bottom, or pebbles, and either a sphagnum moss or a potting mix on top of that. So whatever container you are going to be using, whether it's open or closed, you do always want to have a drainage layer on the bottom, whether that be pebbles or pumice. You do want to create a layer that's a reservoir at the bottom that will hold on to water and moisture for you. As far as watering your terrariums, your tropical landscapes are going to need a little bit more moisture. So keep an eye out on that drainage layer at the bottom, and if you see that there is a little bit of condensation or there's still a little moisture in that drainage layer, don't worry about watering your tropical containers. They usually can be watered once every 1 to 3 months if you're doing the container correctly. And with your desert scape terrariums, you will be watering much less than your tropical terrariums. And you usually don't want to form much condensation in those desert scapes. One way that you can tell that your plants are going to need water in your desert scapes is if you plant succulents and cacti together, they usually will give you certain indications on when they need water. With cacti, if they are still nice and firm, they do have moisture inside of them, but if they're starting to get a little squishy, you will definitely want to water your desert scape. And with succulents, if you notice that their leaves are kind of squishy and you can bend them a little bit, we kind of call it the taco test, if you can fold them, then they also need moisture. So just look out for these signs between your cactus and your succulents, and that should help you give indications when to water. If you are watering more frequently than once a month, especially with your desert scapes, you might want to cut back a little bit if you're noticing your plants are continuously squishy. That squishiness can be a sign of the overwatering and also rotting in your plants as well. So once you've built your terrariums at home, where would you keep them? Terrariums do like indirect light. Because they are in these glass containers, if they're in direct light, that sun coming through the glass is definitely going to heat up your container and possibly scorch your plants. Maintaining your terrariums is not super difficult, and especially with your tropical terrariums, you do want to trim your plants back every once in a while. And if your plants do start to overgrow a little bit and they're touching the sides of the terrarium, that moisture can cause rotting on your leaves, and we do not want that for your plants. So make sure you're trimming back a little bit and not letting all of those leaves touch the inside of your container. As far as other regular maintenance for your terrariums, you do want to remove any dead leaves that have fallen, or just any dead debris that is in your soil, just so it's not creating moisture buildup and also mold. And in between waterings, since you're only going to be watering maybe once a month or up to 3 months, depending on your container, you can mist a little bit in between your waterings, just to provide some extra moisture for your tropical plants. Check back with us next week where we make a closed terrarium and we'll show you all the steps on how to make it. And if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to leave a comment or come on down to Bath Garden Center. We have a ton of terrariums right now for you to shop, and we are always here to help you build one if you would ever like to build one. Thank you for watching and enjoy your day. You do want a layer that is going to hold, no, I don't like that. They're going to give you, no, I don't like where that's going either. Together, they will give you, I did it again, didn't I? I'm not even are overwatering your, if you are watering, yeah.